Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tio and Tito podcast. I'm Tito.
Yeah, and I'm Thea.
I was gonna say I'm Theo. Hey man, how's it going?
Doing good, doing good. It's Fat Tuesday, so can't
It's
complain.
Fat Tuesday. Yeah. Did you guys do anything today?
Yeah, we did. So obviously Fat Tuesday, before Lent, we usually try to like pig out a little bit at least. So, we got some huge burritos, you know,
Mm,
California burritos, can't go wrong with them, and some adobada fries. So yeah, we pigged out a bit.
very
What about you
nice.
guys?
We had Korean barbecue and
Nice.
boba. So pretty solid, still stuffed. Um, but needless to say, it was a Fat Tuesday indeed.
Yeah, man. I think with Fat Tuesday, I hadn't really planned on doing anything, and then Lily's just like, "Hey, we have to do Fat Tuesday." And I'm like, shouldn't be an excuse to go out and eat. Like, I don't know if we should. And she's like, "I want a burrito." So I'm like, "Okay, okay, that's fine. I
Well, I guess
concur."
I mean it depend. I guess it depends what you're gonna do for Lent, right? And I guess we'll go into this a little bit more.
Mm,
But like for example, one of my things is for fasting is kind of lessening how much I eat out, or not going to eat out on the weekday. So if that's something you were gonna incorporate in your fasting during the Lenten season, like for me, then yeah, it was a good excuse for Angel and I to go out and eat. Um, but yeah, if you're just having burritos for the sake of having burritos, that work. That's cool too. There's
yeah,
no judgment here.
yeah. I mean, we actually don't eat out much. It's just
Hmm.
once a week that we really eat out.
Yeah.
But just an excuse to pig out.
No, for sure. And also like I didn't realize it was Fat Tuesday till today. I feel like every year I'm always like Lent just creeps up out of nowhere,
Yeah.
uh, and it's I feel like it's earlier and earlier every year, even though it's probably just around the same time. But I'm just to put it in perspective for me, it's Lent is tomorrow, and then by the time Isaiah turns one, which feels like it's so far out, but it's not really. It's going to be Palm Sunday
Yeah.
around that time, and I'm like, Lent's going to be almost over or by then. And so I don't know, it's just crazy, just timing in general, and uh, yeah, and I'm still trying to think about what things to do for Lent. So hopefully the episode tonight will give me some inspiration.
Give you some ideas.
I do need some ideas still.
To
I'm
about
ill
last
prepared.
minute.
Yeah, well, so yeah, I guess we'll dive right into it. I guess obviously with Lent, we think about the three pillars, right? There's prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. I feel like the easiest and kind of default when people think about Lent is what am I giving up? What am I fasting from?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you got going on this season?
So this is very last minute too for me. Even though I expect it because Lent always starts around my birthday, so
Hmm.
I always look ahead to be like, oh, is my birthday during Lent or is it before Lent? To see like how much I can eat on my birthday, like to be able to participate. Like sometimes my birthday is falling on Fat Tuesday, and that's always fun.
Oh dang.
Yeah, so we go all out. But yeah, it was really interesting because couple years, and this is some good ideas for couples. Is some years Lily and I have actually chosen which each other is giving up for Lent,
Ooh, yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
and we make sure it's like about the same.
Yeah.
So if you don't have any ideas, definitely if you have a significant other, talk to them and see if you guys would be down for that. That one wasn't as bad, and and I I've in the past given up like ice cream or like I love ice cream
Yeah.
or pizza. It's my favorite foods.
Yeah.
Um, but actually, one year this is the weirdest thing I gave up for Lent was I gave up utensils.
Wait. What?
Yeah. So I gave up forks, spoons, and knives. No chopsticks, nothing. I had to eat everything with my hands. And
What?
also I was not gonna like cop out and only eat like sandwiches or hamburgers and stuff. I was like eat like normal food and whatever was given out, I was just gonna use my hands. And I don't know, it really got me like it did two things. It got me thinking about like people that really don't have any other option but to eat with their hands every day. And
Mm-hmm.
at the time I was preparing for a mission trip to Haiti, so of the very poor country, and they had a lot of people who would just eat with their hands every day. But also it really made me reflect on Lent because it
Mm-hmm.
was I had to consciously think every time I would eat, oh, I gave this up. So then again, I'm thinking about what I gave up, and thinking about the season of Lent and what that means for us. So it's just a constant reminder rather than, oh, I can't eat cookies. Okay, and then move on from that and eat something else
Mm-hmm.
instead. So that was one that I've given up. This year I'm actually giving up secular music. So I'm only gonna listen to Christian music
Ooh,
for 40 days.
that's a good
Which
one.
I was telling Lily, I feel like that might not be as hard for me
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a fan of like Christian hip hop and Christian rock and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I have an idea of music in different genres that I can listen to that's still Christian. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I think it's a good one to reflect on, and I also want to see how it affects like my mood moving forward
Sure.
because I tend to listen to very like heavy hip hop and rock when I'm working out or even like when I'm playing the drums, right? I
Mm-hmm.
go towards secular music, so I'm hoping like that'll challenge me a bit into just having uplifting music around me at all times, even like when I'm working at my desk. So we'll see how that goes, but I think I have to be a little more conscious about it just because I practically have music playing like
All the
24/7.
time.
Yeah, yeah, all the time. So I think that's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you
Take it
have
one
any
step
ideas?
further. I was gonna say before it jump into mind, just take it one step further and listen to Gregorian chants for 40 days.
Oh my gosh, maybe to sleep. Gregorian chant for
uh,
40 days, or just pick one
um.
artist that you can
Yeah.
listen to for 40 days.
Ooh. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about that.
You don't know who you would pick?
It wouldn't be very lenty.
No, probably,
If I had to
probably
pick
not.
one.
Yeah.
But uh what I'm giving, yeah, so other, like I mentioned earlier, I'm trying to avoid eating out on the weekdays. I'm gonna do the best I can just because recently it's been a lot easier. It's you know, I've been lazy to get in the kitchen. Angel is busy with Isaiah, so it's easy to cop out and just grab some lunch
Yeah.
from fast food joint, whatever. So we're gonna try and limit that during the weekdays. On the weekends, I feel like it's on the weekends going out is a bonding experience for Isaiah, Angel, and
Mm,
I. So
yeah.
we don't want to take that away. So we'll kind of, but we also won't like use that as an excuse. Like, okay, let's bang 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 and eat at three restaurants that we couldn't eat at during the weekday.
Yeah.
We will be mindful and intentful of that. But other than that, screen time and social media. I'm gonna just sign out of my socials. Um, TikTok especially has eaten a lot of my time. I'm always afraid to look at my screen time report that Apple provides.
It doesn't give it to you automatically. It's like
I
you.
know I turned it off. I
Oh,
turned off
really?
those alerts because it's not. I mean, it's not disappointing or saddening or whatever. What it's just I know it just eats up a lot of my time, and that's time I could be using uh doing other things.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm just
What?
gonna sign out completely. And last year I did limit my time, but then with
Mm,
Apple, there's an option to extend your time, and I found myself last year
just
just
doing it anyway.
continuously just
Yeah.
extending it.
It's like the
And I
snooze
mean,
button.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I remember or I remember last year, uh, it was the time we were at the hospital because Isaiah was born during Lent,
Hmm.
and so when waiting in the hospital room, there's not much you can do besides watch TV and when you're in the recovery room, just watch TV
Yeah.
while the baby's sleeping and be on your phone. So yeah, definitely turn that off. I think Lent in general was not a complete fail, or fail's not the right word, but we also did the whole giving up from eating out, but you know we just had Isaiah, so that was like the only thing we could do to get
Yeah, it's
food,
the
right?
only yeah, the
Eat out
only
or
way you
yeah,
can get food is
yeah.
to go out, grab something real quick, or people
Mm-hmm.
are bringing you food from somewhere else.
Exactly, exactly. Um, so I mean, for Angel this year, she's pregnant again during Lent, so she has a little more leeway in terms of fasting when it
Yep.
comes to food.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the social media stuff, to hoping, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of my time is spent just scrolling, and hopefully it'll. I think it'll improve my sleep, just because when I go to bed, I'm not sleeping right away. I'm on my phone for, um, sadly to say, at least an hour or two, just scrolling
Hmm.
through different socials, and you get sucked into a rabbit hole sometimes, or for me, oftentimes. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to see how that improves with my sleep, and um, and then I think it helps to sign out for me, just because I'm gonna catch myself, opening up an app, and when I see the login screen, it's gonna be a reminder to me, like, oh yeah, uh that's not happening, right?
Yeah.
And it's so automatic for me to I have like a few minutes downtime, just open up my one of my socials. So I definitely need to sign out, just because I know if I don't, I'm gonna fall into that trap really easily.
Yeah.
But
I think
yeah, that's
Lily's giving up uh not social media completely for Lent though. She's doing time. I think after like 8 or 9 o'clock. I think she's just like no
mm,
phone, no screen time. And I think it's important to do like just little things like that too for Lent. Some people like sometimes go all out and be like, I'm
yeah,
gonna do this for 40 days, and like the first week they fail. It's like the people
yeah,
that start going to the gym January 1st and they
mm-hmm,
just downhill after that. I saw this one guy I follow on Twitter. He's like, he was saying that he was giving up coffee and tea for Lent, and he drinks a lot of coffee. And he's like, "Why is it
yeah,
Monday before Lent, and I'm already mad at the fact that I'm not gonna have coffee for 40 days?" Well, it's probably not what you should have given up, right? Because it's gonna put you in a bad mood the whole time. But at the same time, you do want to push yourself a little bit, but you want to be realistic with it
absolutely.
too. Um,
Yeah, I can totally relate. Just when it comes to any of these things in terms of like what you're gonna do for Lent, it's for me. I always struggle with being too simple and going all out, like you said. I can never find like that happy medium. So yeah, but like you said, I'm trying to challenge myself.
yeah,
The socials is going to be hard, just because I feel like that's where I get a lot of my news, and that's how I keep up to date with a lot of what's going on in my family and friends' lives.
yeah,
So I mean, hopefully I'll have Angel to rely on. Angel's
yeah,
not giving up socials, so um, but yeah, that's also why I mean, before, I think when I was in high school, I would always give up like 10 different things, right? And I'd
10
always fail.
different
And what I
things.
used to do was I would add on days after Easter to make up for those days. And so, I
Oh,
learned, I learned that, let me
yeah,
just give up, you know, lesser things, but, challenge myself a little more and not kill myself trying to give up like 10 different things.
yeah.
Um,
I think especially for our viewers, anyone listening that don't really know what Lent is, with Lent is 40 days in preparation before Easter,
mhm,
and the idea is to give something up, right? To give something up, to better ourselves, to improve, um, our both our relationship with God, but also just improve us mentally, physically, in some sense. Um, so one thing I actually tell the confirmation students is you don't necessarily always have to give up something. Maybe you can just add on something.
yep,
So, a few things that I've added on during Lent that I actually continue to this day are liturgy of the hours. So
mhm,
every morning when I wake up, I do the liturgy of the hours, which is a daily prayers that Catholics can do, and that includes like a morning prayer, afternoon prayer, evening prayer. But I just started during Lent to just do the morning prayer, especially because for me it's so hard to get up and pray sometimes. Like I'm not in the right state of
mhm,
mind. I just want to get up and look at my phone. What I started doing was like get up, look at my phone, and the first thing I open, the first app I open, is the Laudate app, so I can read the prayers to the morning prayers. Also, what I started doing is just go downstairs. If I don't want to see the screen, I just put it on on Spotify. There's people that will read out the prayers, and I just
Oh, nice.
meditate on the prayers instead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I started doing that during Lent one year, and it just stuck. It feels good to kind of
Good.
start off your day that way, right?
Yeah.
One thing Lily did uh during Lent was she actually learned about a new saint every day. And she
Yeah,
went
I did that
through
one year.
and she had to do like the research, find a new saint, learn about it, and tell someone about it. A lot of times it was me because I was just at home, so I learned a lot about some of these saints. But but yeah, that's what she did one year and just added something. Uh, one of my confirmation students one year too. They decided to do um a word of affirmation to someone different every day.
Mm,
So that was just like calling someone up they haven't talked to in a while and be like, hey, like just something affirming about them, right? Like, hey,
mm-hmm.
thank you for that one time that you helped me out, or hey, you're a really good person. Just wanted to let you know, and she followed through with that, and she had mentioned to me later on, she actually became part of the core team, that it just kind of became natural for her to tell people those things after that. It was just
Mm-hmm.
it came so easy to her to tell someone, hey, you're doing really good, like look at all the awesome things that you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that just kind of adds on, right?
Yeah.
And I think that that would be almost the ideal for Lent, that whatever
Mm-hmm.
you give up or you add to your life, you're really pushing that forward and is helping you be a better person, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So like you said, for me for the longest time for it was all about what am I giving up? What am I fasting from? But it wasn't until, not really recent, but later on in, my faith journey that, I really took the prayer pillar seriously. So things are adding on. What Angel and I are doing this year. So Angel and I typically like to do something together, whether it's usually it's fasting and in prayer, and in almsgiving. But in prayer, we did this devotional by Jackie and Bobby Angel. It's this
yep,
book here. Um, we did it in 2020, right after we got married, and it was great. So we thought, now that we're 3 years, 4, coming on going on 4 years, have a kid, have another kid on the way. We're gonna revisit this and see how things have changed. I imagine not a whole lot is gonna change, but I think our perspective on certain topics and different things, um, will be different than what it was in 2020, just 3 years ago.
yeah,
Um, but also a lot of the stuff I probably don't remember doing, so it's gonna be like doing it for the first time again. I just have
yeah.
bad memory like that. But again, it was a great time. It was a great thing to go through. So we're looking forward to doing it again with her.
Yeah, that's a great devotional.
Hmm.
I remember doing that one with Lily. And yeah, you just like run through it again. It's really interesting. Both Lily and I are mentors for engaged couples at our church,
Hmm.
part of the Witness to Love program. So it's this program that we run through these like courses with each engaged couple, and we've already gone through with two couples, and we went through the course ourselves first. But every time we essentially go through the same questions, and it's really interesting how from the very first time we did it to like this last time
Hmm.
with this last couple that just got married, we go through it and we're like we're answering some of these questions differently already, like just
Yeah.
in the span of like 2 to 3 years, right? So it's interesting how that'll change, just revisiting some of those things. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, I like the devotional just because it starts off with a passage either written by Jackie or Bobby, and then there's reflection questions that you and your spouse discuss, and so those are always fun to kind of to venture into, and then you end off in prayer.
Yeah,
um
I
so it's
remember.
really it's
I remember actually talking to Bobby about that devotional.
okay.
I was at a Life Team retreat up in Big Bear, and at the time he was working on writing that with Jackie, right?
Oh,
And
nice.
I was going through some stuff personally. I was like we didn't have Toby yet, so and I was having issues with work and like where my place is and my faith. So I went on this men's retreat. He was one of the leaders. I remember having a talk with him just about like marriage in general, and then like focusing in on like the sacrament of marriage and how important
Mhm.
that is, and the like how life-giving it is, and we would go on to talking about like theology of the body and all that stuff is covered in that devotional. And I remember him
Mhm.
saying like, okay, like our conversation here, that was really good. Like I need to write this down because like the stuff just keeps flowing, right? And
Mhm.
both of them great speakers. They have great content online, and yeah, yeah, just that devotional is great. I don't think Lillian actually finished it though.
Mm.
but but I do
Maybe
remember
a go and
starting it.
revisit.
Yeah,
Maybe a
maybe
go and revisit
maybe.
now that you have Toby and the
Oh yeah.
twins and seeing just how much has changed in,
Yeah.
such little time.
One thing Lily actually wants us to start during Lent, so hopefully it keeps going, is praying the rosary at least once a week as a family. So
Oh.
I'll keep everyone posted on how that goes with 3 kids. But it is important to for them to see us pray, right? I think
Mhm.
uh I think in the mornings, because I get up early and I do my prayers and all that stuff before everyone even gets up. My kids don't really see me pray, right?
Mm.
They'll see me pray like at church or when we're doing things,
Mhm.
or at night we pray before bed, right? But that's different than them seeing me, especially Toby right now. I want to make sure that he's seeing me take care of my spiritual life the same way that he sees me take care of like my body, like he's working out.
Mhm.
He's outside while I'm working out. He's seeing that. He sees me like read once in a while. Like he sees that I'm taking care of like my mental. Like I need him to see that I'm taking care of like my spiritual well-being too, other than just going to church, because that's important. And I think Lily was kind of thinking along the same lines, where if we start praying together as a family, it's like it's important because that's where faith starts, right? It starts at home,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
starting that
absolutely.
during Lent is kind of like the perfect time to start something new.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Kind of, unrelated but related. Introducing Isaiah to prayer was something that was very important to Angel and I.
Yeah.
From day one, his bedtime routine, it involves us praying Our Father, Hail Mary, Glory be, and a nighttime prayer. And he knows that's been super helpful for us and for him, because when he hears that, um, along with getting dressed in his pajamas, having his nighttime bottle, he knows it's time for bed, and it's really helped us establish that bedtime routine.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's hearing it at mass, um, and now we're introducing the mealtime prayer, bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts, right?
Yep.
And it's funny now that we're praying that with him. He does this thing where when we do the sign of the cross, is he'll clap like he's putting his hands together, and it's really awesome to see. But also sometimes he claps, and so sometimes we're like, maybe he's just trying to hurry us up so he can eat.
Yeah.
But either way, he's responding consistently
Yeah.
to the prayer, and we know it's even though he doesn't quite understand and he's not able to comprehend what exactly we're saying, he knows the cue of saying the prayer, again, whether it's for going to bed or before he's going to eat.
Yeah.
So hopefully, introducing these prayers early on will be really helpful to his foundation and his faith,
Yeah.
as he continues to grow up.
Yeah. And it's crazy because they're always listening. Like with
Mm-hmm.
Toby the other day, I don't know what happened, but we forgot to pray before our meal. We were like in a hurry, and we got the meal together, and they started eating, and then Toby's like, "We forgot to pray." I was like, "Oh, okay, okay, we'll stop." And then he got us to pray. I was like, "Oh, perfect." But one time that really stood out to me was before we go to bed, we always do Our Father in English and in Spanish, and
Mm,
then we sing a song or two. And a song that he had us sing a lot was How He Loves, right? And
mm,
I would ask him, what song do you want me to sing? He says How He Loves. Okay. So I'm singing How He Loves, and I've been singing it several times, several weeks by this point. I love the song, so it was fine. But the one time I caught him just singing it to himself, like he was singing along,
mm,
and just singing "Oh How He Loves Us" over and over by himself. Like I'm
mm.
legit, I'm like trying to put them down, but I'm like crying. It was like, oh, this is so cool. But I don't want him to go to bed at the same time. Like I don't want to make a big deal out of it because
Yeah, yeah,
he's just singing, he's praying, he's worshiping with me,
yeah.
and that took several weeks and months to get to that point, but they're
Yeah.
always paying attention to what we're doing, and how we pray, how we worship, how we sing, and so it's important that they realize those things, right?
Absolutely. And it's, it's so great that, we have, praise and worship and, just music in general to be able to kind of help, what's the word? Use it as a vehicle to kind of help teach prayer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just because I know for both of us, music is, very big in our lives, um, and I think it's just one way to another way for us to kind of again teach our kids and also bond,
Yep.
through prayer, um, in music.
Yeah, man. I've been playing a lot of music, like Christian hip hop lately. I mentioned it earlier, but
Hmm.
it's so easy, especially now, like with the girls are starting to repeat words. I can't just
Uh,
play any music anymore, right? Like, I think it clicked for me when Toby was like 2 years old. I had like a workout playlist playing in the background,
uh,
and I plugged in my phone into the car and just started playing, and it was Eminem. And then Toby's like, "Hey, I like that song. Play it again." I was like,
oh.
"No, no, this no. It should probably start playing other music." So I just, if they're in the car, I just play Christian music, Christian rock, Christian
Mm,
hip hop, or songs that I know don't have like like that language in it, right?
hmm.
And and there's this one song by Andy Minnie, a Christian artist. I love his music, and I love hip hop, so I'm able to just kind of put on certain artists and not worry about it as I'm listening
Yeah.
to that music that I like. And he has a song called "You Can't Stop Me," and it's like
Hmm.
Toby's favorite song. The song came out like 7 or 8 years ago, maybe longer, but
Mm,
it's like number one on my Spotify playlist just because he keeps asking for it on repeat. And I'm like, okay, I could deal with this. It's hip hop, so I like it. But yeah, even to that extent, like having different songs that are uplifting, but for them as well, for them to
hmm.
listen to. I was today I was just playing like old youth group songs,
Hmm.
do you remember the song Big House by Audio Adrenaline?
Mm-mm. I
No?
don't. I can't.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
But those like I lift your name on high, like awesome God, like all those like old
Oh yeah,
school
yeah, yeah.
songs.
Okay, okay.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
just playing those songs in the car, and he's like, "Oh, what's this song?" I'm like, "Oh,
yeah.
this is what it is," and he's like liking them and like dancing to them. So yeah, yeah, it's that, especially on the music front. It's a big deal for me, especially now that they're repeating everything they hear.
Hmm. And it helps that there, a lot of the music is catchy, and they'll just dance to it even though they don't know the words exactly. It's
Yeah,
catchy enough for them to just like bounce around or get some movement in their body. So
yeah, yeah.
it's
It's
good.
gotten a lot better.
Yeah. Yes, it has. It's not just Gregorian chants.
Yeah, right.
The third pillar, almsgiving. That's always been kind of my weak point.
Mm,
It's this is one of those ones where I feel like just like donating money or giving money is too simple. Um, but I remember one year Angel and I made uh not, for better lack of word, goodie bags for the homeless, right?
mm,
Had a pair of socks, bought water bottles, um, some like granola bars, and I don't know if it was just our neighborhood, but we would try and give them out, and people we got turned down a few times,
mm-hmm,
and instead we got asked for money. And I don't know if it was a turnoff or what, but I don't know. I think we found we ended up giving like multiple to people who would take them, but I don't know. It's uh, ever since then it hasn't turned me off and kind of like trying it again. Um, but again, I just think I struggle with what what besides donating money can we do to not fulfill this aspect of Lent, but what do you have any ideas, or do you have anything that you're doing this year to kind of that falls under almsgiving?
mm. I've thought about that before, and I mean, one thing my parents had told me is like the work you do with the youth is almsgiving,
Oh yeah, okay.
and but even then I was like, I'm not doing enough. Like I started helping out with like middle school too, and doing like Lily had to pull me back and be like, all right, you're volunteering too much. Let's chill out. But I don't know. There also with like the Knights of Columbus, which both
Mm,
you and I are knights. Um, I like that they're able to kind of pick out different charities for us, not to just give money to, but they have actual like workshops and stuff we can go and work, like put packages together. Like I remember helping out at the Knights of Columbus for their little like family boxes for new families, and it's just putting together like diapers and bottles and like the nipples for the bottles and all that stuff. Putting all that
mm-hmm.
together in like care packages to send to families that have newborns or just like kids in general, right? Um, I love doing that and just going through an organization like that. I also remember we used to work with a group called FFCC out of here, out of Poway,
Mm-hmm.
and they would put together meal packages to send out to different locations. To like Haiti was one of them when I went on the mission trip, to Tanzania, to India, to a bunch of different countries. And Lily had a connection there, so we would help out with that. And I know the deacons of San Diego, the diocese actually put together a food packaging event, same thing, and we're putting meals
Mm-hmm.
together to send overseas. So there's so many opportunities, and there's so much to do right now with
Yeah,
volunteers. Like I know at the end of the confirmation year with all the kids, we always ask them like, okay, you're gonna be confirmed. What's next? What do you want to do?
yeah,
Like, do
yeah.
you want to help us out with the youth? Sure, come along. Do you want to sing? Do you want to do something else? One of the kids actually approached me and was like, hey, like my brother has mental health like disabilities, and I would like to work with people that have that. Luckily, one of
Mm-hmm.
the deacons in our area actually works with people with mental health disabilities, and he has a whole ministry around that. And he started volunteering there right after confirmation,
Mm-hmm.
and he started helping out. And so there's, I don't know, so what I do, I mean, I go and help with the youth. Like I have a retreat coming up actually this weekend, and then another one next month, and just helping
Mm,
out where I can.
yeah,
But as far as like giving, like there's so many different opportunities. You just need to
yeah,
ask at the church,
yeah,
right?
yeah. No,
There's
absolutely.
Yeah, and there's so many different like callings there too. And the same thing I tell the kids, like that one kid that really wanted to work with mental health. I'm like, perfect. Like there's the possibility right now to help out with that. So
Yeah,
that was really cool that he was able to find that. But yeah, and but yeah, that's what I've done. We've put together a group and just go sign up to go to Salvation Army, like
yeah.
that. They always, especially now, like during the winter where it's when it's cold, like they'll always take
Mm-hmm.
people in to just, and it's so simple with Salvation Army. Once they get to know you
Yeah.
too, if you go a handful of times, they know that they can sign you up for different jobs, and you'll go in, and we'll take the high school kids with us, and they go and all they're doing is serving food and cleaning up, right? And but they
Yeah.
love doing it, and getting your family and other people to start participating in that. It's always good to see. More than anything, especially for the people at Army, the homeless there, like they just want someone to talk to half the time. So
Absolutely.
so I remember there's a couple adults that would go with us, and they the first time I went, I was like, they're not doing anything. And then one of the guys that was there, one of the leads, was like, just pay a little more attention to what they're doing. And
Yeah.
those guys, they were just sitting with the homeless and just having conversations with them. I'm like, oh
Mm-hmm.
man, that's important because they need to be seen, and I mean, in them they have the image of Christ.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't look at them as just someone that we just give stuff to. We need to connect with them at a certain level,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah, I think, I need to remind myself that, this is one of those things where, simplicity could be okay or is okay,
Yeah,
right? It's the little things, right, that can go a long way. Like Saint Teresa of Lisieux, right?
yeah.
What was her little actions, little flower?
Go far. Yep.
Um, yeah. Little actions, lead to, big and great things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think uh what was I gonna say? The whole giving out the goodie bags. I'm not I wasn't expecting to think get great praise, and I think um I need to remind myself that my intent and the reason why I'm doing that. And if some people don't want it, then that's fine. At least you tried, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think I think again, I don't want to say that I was turned off, but maybe that's what it was. I mean, here I am trying to help, and then to get turned down, by a good, not a good majority, but more than one time. It was just interesting, and for some people, it's not about kind of the physical items that they get back. It's like you said, maybe they just need someone to talk to. Maybe they just want your prayers. Maybe they just want money, and
Mm-hmm.
whatever it may be, whatever you can do to help. I think, if you're able to do it, then why not? So I just need to remind myself that, just whenever you can, whatever you can do is whatever I can do. It's do it if it's possible.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Lily's really big on volunteering and helping as many people as she can. So she always has an eye on that, on seeing where help is needed, especially in our community.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a blessing having her around to remind me to do the same.
Yeah.
um, Back to talking about Lent. I know it's the focus is right now we're talking about almsgiving and prayer and stuff, but also there's a big focus on fasting. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of people are always like, why do you fast? What are you doing with fasting? Like,
Uh,
what's the whole point? Like, I actually heard someone mention that the Thursday in between Ash Wednesday, because tomorrow, Ash Wednesday, we also don't eat meat, right? And
Correct.
supposed to fast. And then the first Friday of Lent, we don't fast. So there's a Thursday in between, and they call it Meat Thursday because it's the one day that you eat meat between the two other days. Like, that's great.
This of this week. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
Thursday is Meat Thursday.
I think every
Um,
Thursday's Meat Thursday.
every
But
Thursday's Meat Thursday. But um, I don't know. I always have a problem trying to figure out what to eat on on those days, just because, especially me like being like on a high protein diet.
yeah,
Like I'll have sardines and stuff, like and tuna
yeah,
once in a while, but I'm like, man, what do I cook for my kids that they're gonna eat? Because they eat a lot of meat too. They like everything's like chicken or some type of
yeah.
pork or beef, and I mean it's not supposed to be easy. That's why we're fasting, right?
Right.
But yeah, I have a lot of like Protestant friends that will be like, why do you guys abstain from meat but are still allowed to eat fish? and and the response I usually have is because the idea is that, especially when this started with the early church, fish was a food that was easily able to get, and meat, like red meat, was a delicacy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're making a sacrifice from that perspective. So when I
Mm-hmm.
see people on Ash Wednesday and like Fridays during Lent, like eating like lobster and crab and crazy amounts of sushi, like on those Fridays, I'm like, I don't think they get it. I don't think they understand that we're supposed to like be fasting. And did you actually know before 1966, every Friday you weren't supposed to eat meat, not just during Lent for Catholics and a lot of the actually Western Christian church. It was just every Friday, like
Every
forever.
Friday, like of the year.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, every Friday. So I actually know a few Catholics who still follow that, and just every
Wow.
Friday they just don't eat meat. I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. But
I
honestly,
mean,
like the way that we fast compared to some other religions isn't even that bad. Like
mm-hmm.
I've seen like the like Muslims or like Jewish people that'll do their fasts and like they can't eat until like sundown, and I'm over
Mm-hmm.
here like I get two small meals and a regular meal. Like
It's been 2 hours since
yeah,
I last ate.
yeah, it's crazy. Uh, but honestly, like it's all I, I do feel better after fasting. Just
Oh yeah,
and just to be able to like pray on that and offer that up to God, like that's such a little sacrifice compared
yeah.
to like the Passion of Christ, or just like what other people around the world are actually experiencing right now. So
Hmm.
I think the fasting, prayer, and alms giving, all of it kind of like flows together, and that I think that's the point,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So we talk about fasting and the prayer that goes with it. We talk about almsgiving, the prayer that goes with that, and it all just comes together in really preparing us for Easter. And I
Hmm.
think this is one of my like favorite. Should I say favorite? Like it,
It's
like
a season to look forward to.
yeah, yeah. It's a
Yeah.
season to look forward to
It's
spiritually,
just
because I
like
always
it's a
feel
spirit. I was gonna
yeah,
say it's just like it's a spiritual reset, right?
yeah,
For me, like for me at least, that's a good way to reset. And just really reflect, right? That's like a big thing to do this during the Lent season, is just to reflect on your life.
yeah,
And look at these three pillars, look at your prayer, fasting, your almsgiving, and seeing what you can do to kind of uh better yourself, improve yourself,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
um
It's like a spiritual revival almost.
yes, yeah.
And it's actually interesting. Have you seen the stuff on Asbury, the revival that's happening at some like church? Actually, I think it
Yeah, I've heard of
yeah.
stuff, but I'm not too aware of what's going on.
Yeah, it started off like as a Sunday service or something, and they just kind of kept worshiping, and it's been going on for like almost a week now, that they're just in consistent worship, and people are just coming in
Hmm.
and out, and it just keeps going. But I think that's beautiful. I think it's awesome. Uh,
Yeah.
I have my own personal feelings on that, coming from a very charismatic church that did a lot of stuff like that. But
uh
at the same time, like how I would feel coming out of like a really good retreat, or really good like prayer session or adoration in front of the Eucharist, like that's how I feel like during Lent for a really long time. Like this is just like getting in deeper into my core, into to really what do I need spiritually, and when thinking about what to like give up for Lent,
uh
and things of that nature, I really kind of focus on now, what do I need spiritually
yeah.
at this moment, like spiritually as a husband, as a father, as even as a son to my parents, like
Hmm.
I need to think about spiritually, what do I need to change, and what needs to really be revived within me, within my soul, to get
Hmm.
closer to God,
Yeah.
essentially, right? Like how do I close that gap just a little bit more?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited, and I like that we do confirmation retreats during it too, just because we're able to share that with our youth, and get them a little closer too, and just share our faith with each other.
Yeah, man. It's funny that you bring back the fasting and like the fish. I was that guy who was eating all you can eat sushi on Fridays, and uh like 10 fish tacos or like hella fish and chips. But it's crazy to see, how Lent, you know, every Lenten season things have changed, and for me it's like, I think I would like to say it's for the better.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now that um I'm married and with a kid, it's yet another new way for me to experience Lent. You know,
Yep.
so I'm looking forward to see what the season has to bring for me spiritually, um, with Isaiah, and with Angel being pregnant with our second son. Just and curious to see how that affects all that's going on.
Yeah, for sure. Um,
But yeah.
to close out, I want to talk about a little bit more about food. uh, I really have no idea what to eat like tomorrow or Friday. Do you have any
Okay.
like go-to recipes that you have that don't involve
Ooh.
meat?
Okay,
Cause
I will. I was gonna say, I'm surprised you didn't bring it up, but this is not my recommendation. But when I was working out or whatever, during Lent, I'd have to pound like what, uh two, like four servings of protein shakes, like, and those would be my two small meals, right?
because you can't have chicken.
Uh, yeah, can't have meat. Yeah, and I need to get my protein in. Um, I'm not. That's not what I'm recommending. But for me, since I forgot that Lent was already, or Ash Wednesday was tomorrow already, I'm gonna have to do like a quick grocery run tomorrow. I might just do like Indian cuisine is pretty good.
Okay.
Trader Joe's has like a ready eat, like fish curry. It's pretty good. So that's something I you know that's something I thought of immediately as
Hmm.
a quick grab and go meal.
My
Um,
my go-to for breakfast. Breakfast, I eat the most during breakfast. That's just kind of
uh,
my meal. But during that, I kind of always go to soy rizo and eggs
oh
and tacos.
yeah,
I actually like soy rizo more than like pork chorizo or beef
yeah.
chorizo. Don't tell my mom. Uh, but yeah, I really like soy rizo, and I started baking it during one Lent,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, you know what, this is better than like the pork chorizo. Is less fat, and it just overall just tastes better. So, and I just started kind of making that for breakfast with the kids too. But that's just my go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah, chorizo and eggs. But I just kind of end up eating that the rest of the day because I don't really know what else to make. Lily figures something out always, but I'm just like at a loss for what to eat.
Yeah, I mean, for me, since I have gout, there's a lot of like
Mm.
good things, healthy things. There's a lot of vegetables that can trigger my gout, which sucks. So like soy
So
is one
yeah.
of those products. So, I can't do chorizo, or I can't do a mushroom like a mushroom burger or whatever, or a mushroom steak, or like a cauliflower steak.
Mm.
So I have to get really creative with what I can eat. Um
Filet of
but fish,
fish.
filet of fish Fridays,
At McDonald's.
it's coming back. Yeah, I didn't do filet of fish a whole lot.
They have filet of fish Fridays. What else was in rotation? The Subway's tuna sandwich, which is like
Ooh,
50% mayo.
ooh, or yum.
Yeah. Uh, what else? Oh, for a while, like Cars Jr. and Burger King and all were doing Impossible Burgers. So
Hmm.
that's kind of one. But yeah, I just end up eating out, which is bad. So obviously
Yeah.
we don't eat out like that anymore. So we shouldn't be doing that. I'll just eat, I don't know, kale or something.
Hey, yo, what?
I don't
At least
know.
you can do like meat substitutes or vegan food. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I fried fish. If I'm making fish myself, it's usually fried,
Mm-hmm.
which is not the healthiest, but uh, yeah, that's what I know.
I'm gonna bust out the air
But
fryer.
yeah, yeah. Or again, Indian fish curry. It's delicious from Trader Joe's.
All right. Sounds
But
good.
yeah,
Check it
that's
out.
tomorrow. Then Friday, I
And
don't know.
then Easter. No, then Isaiah's birthday and then Easter.
Wait, I had to think. Are we celebrating his birthday on a Friday? That would have been bad. No, we're celebrating his birthday on a Sunday, so
Yeah.
it'll be
Are
like
you gonna get the big like the pig of the spit?
the lechon.
Yeah, the lechon.
That's his first birthday, man. We gotta do it. So
You go. Is that
imagine
you gonna go all out?
yeah, Angel and I would like we're trying to keep it to we're not trying to keep it to a minimum. Let's be real. We're trying to keep it not complete. We're not trying to make it super outrageous.
Okay.
But it is his first birthday, so there's like an expectation that from our family, that
Yeah.
we're Angel and I are happy to entertain, that we go big, right? So a lechon will be making an appearance. Hopefully, we still have to find out where. But can you imagine like seeing a fish on a spit instead of lechon? How sad and disappointing that
Oh,
would
that would
be.
suck.
It feels like a tuna maybe, but there's not they're not tuna's not readily available or easy to catch around San Diego.
No,
Um, but yeah,
that's great.
other than that, good old peanut butter jelly sandwich.
Oh
It's
yeah,
only one day, especially for those fasting days. No,
that's
it
true.
ain't gonna kill you, but
That's true.
does that's what I have to recommend.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you all have a great Lenten season. Let us know in the comments,
Hmm.
what things are you giving up? What things are you adding? What do you do for Almsgiving?
Hmm.
Feel free to hit Eric and I up
Yeah.
for any questions. But again, thank you guys for listening. Until next time, God bless.
God bless.